Yeah, hi everyone, and welcome. I'm here with my friend Frances Sue, who I've known for 10 years now on this spiritual path, and just feel very honoured and very blessed to have this time. I feel like we're going to really go into some profound, very profound ideas today. So, Frances, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Colin.
Wow. Yeah, look, I feel like, let me just check what it is I want to say to get this started. I feel like in the last week or so, I've read several things in your several things from your website, which, by the way, that the link to Frances' website will be available with this post, so you can check out anything. I'll be probably reading a few quotes and just reading a couple of sections from Frances' website. So there's a particular section that I feel is I feel it's so profound, and I feel like it's such a strong pointer to a deep experience that you are sharing with everyone. And so in a moment, I'm going to read these two paragraphs. And before I maybe just read that, I'll just give a little bit of context that in the earlier phase of the article, you just share with everyone that, throughout your life, I feel like it's probably much of the first 30 plus years, you give some, like a summary of your life in China, and then in Australia. You also talk about different, like, intense feelings that would arise at different times, like rejection, unworthiness, these kind of intense feelings. And you also, one of the other things that I feel, I could certainly relate to, and I think that many people can, is that you reach this point where you're in Australia, you've got this successful business going, you're married, you've got a property, you've ticked all these boxes, but it's like there's this emptiness, and around that point, maybe sometime after that, your mind is like turning to an alternative. And so the part that I'm going to read actually is probably some years after that, because I know that you'd already had some years of being so diligent and vigilant, practicing the course. You'd been part of the Living Miracles community, joining with David Hoffmeister, Jason Press, other mighty companions, and you'd had a lot of experiences and had such a wonderful intellectual insights, let's call it that. And then, on a particular day, I don't know when this was, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going to pick this up from here. I'm going to read these two paragraphs. And I have a feeling that when I finish these two paragraphs that I'm probably going to be silent for a while. And I just feel to invite you just to share at any point, anything to elaborate, because I know partly this interview, of course, is for me. I just feel like it's such a gift for me, but I think anyone listening is going to just resonate with the depth of what's being said here, and anything that you wish to elaborate after, I think is just going to be so beautiful. So thank you. And I'm going to start this reading now. So one day I was in the middle of yet another intense experience of the same ego thoughts spinning in my mind. All the evidence was there again in my mind to prove that I was rejected and unworthy of love. Then, in the middle of my anger and pain, a thought arose. Now is my chance to do it differently. I need to pull myself out of the darkness right here, right now, and not wait till later. Somewhere inside, I knew that to truly heal the hurt, I had to choose to rise above it. That was my moment. It was not easy to make that choice. I debated with myself for about half an hour, trying to encourage myself by thinking that I had nothing to lose, that surely I could have at least one experience of knowing what it was like to really break through. Of course, I thought I could always choose to go back into the hurt later. It took absolutely everything I had to finally lay aside all my ego, all my attack thoughts and grievances, and ask the Holy Spirit to light up my mind and show me a different way of looking at the situation. In less than 5 minutes, I was lifted up. Not only was I lifted up, but I actually couldn't go back into the darkness anymore. I couldn't even remember or understand why I was angry. I was completely above the battleground. The situation and people that I was angry with suddenly became completely loving and innocent in my mind. Everything was seen from a totally different perspective. It was very precious.
Yeah, thank you, Colin, to start this whole interview with that, because I'm actually really glad it resonated with you, because I have to say that was a very profound and defining moment in my spiritual journey, because I was going through, like many people, on this spiritual path, having this amazing tool of A Course in Miracles, trying to understand and trying to practice as much as I can, and yet the profound experience of these transcendental moments are everything that in the end that we learn from. And I feel like I was reviewing my journey a lot. I look back and talk to myself about what I could have done differently next time, make future plans about, oh, I learned this, I have these insights, I'm going to apply it to the next time when I go down into the ego realm. Those are very common self-talks that I have. I would analyze situation, I would make future plans. But that moment, and many, actually before that, I went through a period of realizing those insights by looking back and making future plans actually are kind of meaningless. No matter how much it feels to feel I understand the situation up, from in hindsight, and how much I feel, oh, next time I would know what to do, by looking forward, none of that really works. And that moment, to actually be able to just lay aside all the stories and all the textiles in my mind and have such a profound moment that kind of defined my healing path from that moment on. It completely changed the way I approach everything. And I realized how, like, in this experience, that healing happens now. Healing never will happen tomorrow. It will never happen next week. It will never happen in your next relationship. In the next time you think of someone, it's only happening now. Now is all that you have. Now is the only moment you really have a choice to make. And if you use the moment to put the healing in the future, basically that is not a choice. That is not a choice of healing. So that is just very, very profound. And also, of course, in that experience, I could feel the power of the mind in a pure experiential way. You know, no matter how much we hear those words, your mind is powerful. You can make a decision. Nothing will convince me except through that kind of experience. And I feel that is really strengthening. And we need a lot of that kind of experience on the spiritual journey to realize that we have the power, and only in this moment, only in our own mind, we have that power. And that is the only way we can truly say experience, you know, in terms of external situations in this world, in terms of other people, we can truly let everything be exactly as they are. Why can we do that? Why do we really, why can we truly step back and say, yeah, everything can be exactly as they are, and I don't really need to look for the future. I don't really need to go to see psychics. I don't need to know the future events. How can we truly reach that place to be so content to know that right now is all there is to know that no matter what external situations throw at us, this choice in our mind is the key. And every situation presents an opportunity for us to find the key in our mind to claim that power. So in that way, every situation may seem different, but they are really the same because the purpose is the same. And also I feel, you know, from that experience moving forward, I started to see the world more as whether they are exactly the same or how to say it, like in terms of quality, you know, not in terms of specifics, because
no hierarchy, you mean, of is it
exactly no hierarchy, because when we were looking at the daily events, they look very different. They look like we have a lot of choice to make, and they look like, you know, situation keeps changing, keeps shifting, but quality wise they're the same. And then in that moment, when I completely put aside all the egoic thinking, suddenly I have a shift, a quantum shift of quality. And that is very, very distinct, very, very distinctive, very, very, very different in quality. In one moment, there is no problem whatsoever. You feel safe. You feel there is no hurt, no fear, and nothing can hurt you. Nothing that is lacking. You don't need anything. You have everything you need or you want. And that is a very, very different moment. And the rest of the moments, no matter how they look different, they're the same.
Yes.
So for us, and I guess for myself, from that moment on, I started to really pay attention to what is truly different, you know, not really being fooled by what is really the same thing, as if they provide different choice. So.
Thank you. Yeah. A question comes to mind. Could you say what made that particular moment, which I can feel just such a life-changing, like life's just never been the same again since that moment, but what made that particular moment different or made what occurred possible when previous attempts to achieve or experience that were seemingly not successful? You could possibly say that. Like, was it, I know, like, one thing Jesus tells us in the Course is that, you know, an untrained mind can accomplish nothing. And I know that you had gone through, there was so much mind training, maybe a few years, I don't know, but, you know, a lot of mind training, you were practicing those lessons. You were setting alarms for, you know, if Jesus said, you know, do this every 15 minutes, you would be so, so vigilant to actually follow the directions. And I know, you know, the experiences in the community, there was a lot of mind training too. Do you think those things and others were helpful for you to be able to experience what you did in the particular moment we're talking about? And the other idea in here is the idea of readiness. Maybe you can just talk a little bit about these two ideas, please.
Yeah. I mean, that's an interesting question. What makes it happen, and what defines that moment? I think readiness, David mentions readiness sometimes and kind of refers to it as something that is really beyond our personal control. And I feel that, because I feel like the one thing I can talk about is relationships, because on this path, one thing I feel I'm very blessed by is the opportunity of relationships, how many relationships are presented. And I'm not really talking about romantic relationships. They are offered by the Spirit as well, but just the amount of collaborations, working with people in the way that is so intimate, because we don't just go to work and then see you and just get things done. You know, to collaborate with people in the community is a 24/7 thing, and we do approach it with no private thoughts and no people pleasing. So it is very intimate. And I do feel when we are getting close towards people, in terms of collaborating or in terms of entering into relationships without a mask, it just presents so many opportunities for us to look at all this darkness. And I remember that time was also one of those phases that it's repetitive patterns coming up. I was having relationship presented to me in my life, and the same kind of grievance keeps coming up. And I took mental notes every time it comes up. I thought that's the same. For sure, next time I'll have some insights and I can handle it better. And I couldn't. So I keep watching myself fall into the same trap. And I feel like I had to watch myself fall down to the same path so many times. And maybe that gave me some awareness, even if I didn't make the actual change. It was I became more and more aware of what's going on in my mind until the moment I just gathered everything I had to make that quantum shifts in my mind. But before that, there was many observation and awareness, and keep seeing the repetitive patterns coming up and not able to do anything about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I want to jump forward to now. And I have a quote here from your website as well, which I feel like I feel like this is, I just get the feeling this is how you live now. And I just want to read this one quote and invite any comments as well, because I feel like this is a really high advanced level of living, and I would just love you to sort of elaborate again on this idea, which feels so again so profound, and so it's almost like it's saying goodbye to the ego, and just there's so much trust that the spirit has got you and got everything in this quote. So here we go. When the mind yields to ego thoughts, my only function is to choose the spirit, and then I wait in patience and certainty. And then I wait in patience and certainty that love and light will rush back into my awareness. Could you, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's also based on experience, that actually your mind is either completely in the ego or not at all. There is really no middle point. There is no like, I'm feeling okay halfway today, I'm not feeling too bad, or I have a little bit of spirit in my mind, but it's not like that. It's very much is either one or the other, and these two never really meet. And I can't tell you how many times I had the experience that something just feeling so stuck in mind, and there was just one thought that comes through, and maybe I can just think of the spirit, as simple as that. Then the whole mind got light up, and everything was gone. And it was that kind of experience that happens every single time when I just direct my mind over from trying to analyzing and trying to figure out things within the ego realm, and suddenly just something get clear. Oh, what am I doing? I don't feel good. And the tiniest change of direction brings this total I don't know what to call it, this total shift in mind. And it was so distinct. Again, it feels like a qualitative shift in mind. And that's why I feel that gives me so much faith and so much hope, because then you realize this journey is really not about effort. It's really not about hard work. It is about vigilance, but the vigilance level is not about rituals or actions. It is, this is the vigilance. You can actually remember spirit and remember God in the midst of anything, in the midst of all the temptation and attraction. But that is all that is required. How simple is that? So.
Thank you. So what I'm hearing in your responses to, and what I see in you, just that you demonstrate, Frances, is it's sort of like what I just heard you say. It's almost like just this, almost like this new habit, this new way of being, and this new way of living, where you it's like so finely tuned and aware that if the mind starts to try to work something out, or there's some idea of a worry or a problem, it's almost like instantly like, oh no, it comes back. And there's this, you know what I'm feeling a lot, it's like this humility. It's like this humility that No, I don't know. This thinking has been the source of my problem. So show me, like this, like pause, whenever the event, pause and show me, and letting go of, like stopping almost that spinning of like trying to figure out, trying to analyze, trying to like, what was that person thinking? Well, you know, like it, this is what I'm hearing a lot in what you are saying, and I feel you demonstrate this. And in the Course, Jesus says, like, really the teachings above all are by demonstration, you know, really. And I see that in your, just the whole way you are, and you carry yourself, the grace, and it's like this, you know, you're not trying to effort, it's a handing over. Can you comment on this type of way of living, this humility? Yes.
Yeah, I think, I really like when Jesus talks about the rules for decisions. I never really practiced that like as a formula, rules for decisions, and start the day like this, start the day. But gradually, more and more, I was thinking, why, why don't everybody just practice that and only that as their basis to start the day? Because it becomes something that I realize that is really effective to start the day right, and to make sure that because of these quantitative shifts that I experience, there's distinctly two kinds of experience, and only two. One is total, complete freedom, no problem whatsoever. And another thing is some kind of problem and fear, right? So the goal for me is always this, and this is just not good enough. So not about my day, our life is not about let's get this done. It's never good enough. Like, what is in that to get something done? How is that satisfying to get all the tasks done? But miracle, okay, I want something to happen or not, but I want miracles in the day is the goal, and is the only goal, is a consistent goal. Even if I seem to get stuck in a project, it's very quick and easy to come to my mind, I just want a miracle. I really don't care this thing to go anyway. So for me, it becomes more and more clear, is really just get clear about the goal. Okay, I want this thing to be solved miraculously. I want these things to be solved in a way that proves that I'm wrong. I'm wrong about what I was thinking. And I guess it's just really, really rewarding if we enter the day with that in mind. That's the kind of day I want. So if this goal is clear, I want a miracle, we cannot enter the daily task with this strong I know mind. Because we can't say, I know exactly how this thing gonna turn out and I have to have it done my way. It's very, very, it's just opposite to the goal. So the more we're clear about the goal, being a miracle, being something that is so blown my mind away, the easier I enter into everything, like, how is this gonna blow me away? That's my goal. That's what I'm actually looking for. So I'm not looking for to prove I'm right. If anything, I probably more saying, I hope I'm wrong. I really do, because there is no miracle if I'm right. I already know everything. So with this idea that I hope I'm wrong, it actually become really freeing.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I can really feel that. That's sort of like almost a complete change of thinking, in that I think the way most of us are brought up, like there's some idea of like, you know, wanting to be right, like from the school days, you know, I want to be right about the answers that I give for this test. I want to be right in this job interview. I want to, you know, but from what you're saying, it's almost this joy of and this shift in attitude to actually, I'm going to be so happy being wrong about it. That's kind of what I'm hearing you say. And that's so freeing, isn't it? Like,
yeah, it is really, and you just, and I can guarantee you, if you feel that you just want to be happy, and even, you know, sometimes when we look at a situation and suddenly we feel tense, like some contraction going on, the first thing I would say is like, I hope I'm wrong about this, because clearly if I'm thinking is right, I'm doomed, because I'm going to keep feeling the contraction. Yes. That's how I feel if I'm right. So I hope I'm wrong. And that just opens up suddenly straight away in my mind, miracles flooding, love flooding. And I feel it's so rewarding. The more we can have this mindset, the more we'll be convinced that is truly all that we want. We don't want to be right.
Yes. It's interesting, just a few minutes earlier, you mentioned the rules for decision, and just what you've said there, actually, I remember it's one of the last things Jesus mentions in this. There's several steps in the rules for decision, but one of the last things he mentions, it's this really beautiful, masterful way of working with the mind that might have some resistance. He says something like, you know, can you at least admit that you don't like how you feel? And then he says, once there's an agreement, yes, I can. And then he says, so the next obvious step is, so you can also admit then that perhaps I'd be better off if I was wrong.
And that is actually very down the, like far down the list. That's like after you're already so off the track. This is, but I feel that is so effective. So I'm not advanced enough to like to make sure I stick to everything. But this, even the step that he gave after you're way off track, I can guarantee it can bring us back in the instant, like in the instant, the moment we can truly, honestly say, okay, I hope I'm wrong about this. It's like so, so miraculous.
Yeah. I can just feel even, I don't know, just right now, even just, I feel this, I think it's just this feeling relaxed and this relief of just as we're joining around these ideas, it's sort of like, feels like it ties in with just this idea of like the relief of just admitting, oh, actually, I don't know. I don't know how to do any, you know, I don't really know. And then, you know, suddenly the mind's open to being shown. You know, it's not like trying to, I don't know, trying to effort or struggle or trying to hold it together. It's like just such the completely opposite way of being, of living.
Yeah.
Let me just check, because I had no idea really apart from that first thing I read, I didn't really know what we were going to be talking about, but I did make a list of a number of quotes, and I'm just going to take a moment just to look through and see if there's something else that may introduce another theme here. And while I'm looking, if there's something else on your mind, Frances, just go for it too. Otherwise, let me just stop for a moment. Oh my, this one. I love this one. This actually, this quote comes from your, the documentary that you directed, Take Me Home. And I'd love you to comment about this and any thoughts or any even experiences around this, because this also feels profound. In this world, we protect ourselves by withholding love and pushing others away, not realizing that Withholding love is the only source of all pain.
Yeah. That definitely comes from experience. I feel, you know, the when we are actually in this place where all we perceive is miracle and safety and freedom and love, really in that place, the whole being of what you are just can't help but radiate that light out. It's not a doing, is just what it is, you know. Your light shine, you're happy, you're smiling, and people feel it. You can't help but thinking loving thoughts, and those thoughts radiate out to the whole world. So it's like, it's just what happens. So then the other state is always some kind of lacking. Things shouldn't be what they are, but ultimately it comes down to self-hatred. And you know, of course, we all know metaphysically is we don't believe we are who we are anymore. We believe we're this evil thing that left God, and we're
Yes.
not God's son anymore. So there's a complete cut off. But when it comes to the experience here, in practical everyday experience, it does feel like that there is a self-hatred going on, and a huge projection of this self-hatred outwards, especially to the ones that we're coming closer with.
Yes.
Being, you know, romantic relationship partners or family members, friends. The closer you get, this projection gets more intense. And I guess I just feel ultimately, yeah, that's what's going on. And if we really want to practice in relationships, really the only thing we need to practice is just how to give, how to keep the heart open, and how to give love in the situation. If that is the one thing we keep holding in our mind, then that's going to take us all the way.
Yes, thank you. And as you were speaking, one idea that came into my mind, and perhaps you could just share a little bit about this too in a moment, is I feel like that quote I just read around basically like not withholding, just giving, sharing, just fully, like, how can I give? How can I share love? Like, it's completely the opposite of, say, in the world. I feel like there's a strong belief, and even an idea that it's true, this idea of reciprocity, you know, that I see it so much, and I feel like I fall into that trap too myself. Oh, that friend, I called them 3 times last month, it's their turn to call me. Or I did the shopping, I washed up, you know, like, and it's such a trap. Like, it's such a trap to truly loving, or truly giving, or truly being present. It has strings attached to the past, and I did this and you haven't done this. And can you talk a little around that, the reciprocity? I think you touched on, even like maybe that, just that idea as well is also tied into what you talked about, the self-hatred stuff. Like, but yeah, could you, any thoughts there?
Yeah, and I think, you know, maybe we can even talk the course, because sometimes I look at the course and I thought it looks complicated, it looks so deep, because it seems foreign to the everyday thinking of this realm. But I always feel Jesus must lay out everything in the most direct way he can. So I like to look at, you know, every time he says, simply do this, or I only have one lesson for you. And there is a one part where it's the Holy Spirit's lessons. And I actually read that over and over again. 3 lessons. The first one is to have, give out to all. The second is to have peace, teach peace, to learn it. And the third is be vigilant only for God and his kingdom. But out of the 3 lessons, he actually said that only the first one needs your effort,
right,
to have give all to all. And he said you don't even have to even finish it, but you have to initiate that shift of direction. Because in the ego, because lack is the foundation of the ego, everything in the ego's thought system is about getting, to fulfill that lack. You can look at everything, you know, get, even in relationships, what can I get? How these people can compliment me? How can I have a better experience? It's all about getting. So I feel like the giving that Jesus talks about in the Course is, again, a qualitative difference.
Yes.
It's not the giving that we talk about in everyday language. Because the everyday language, when we talk about giving, very much is talking about body action, which is still from this place of I'm a body, which is still based on lack.
Right.
So there is no real understanding or real giving going on. So what Jesus is talking about, to have, give all to all, he is really talking about in your mind, in your attitude. You have to equate getting with giving. You can't keep getting equipped, like the ego wants us to learn, is that getting is equivalent, I mean, giving is equivalent with losing.
Right.
Giving and losing are the same term. Giving and less are the equivalent. But in the spirit, it's like, this is such a fundamental era. Giving is more. Giving is receiving. And you have to convince yourself. And the only way to convince yourself is through experience. And the only way you have an experience is to have that mindset, to enter a situation with the giving mentality.
Yes.
So the convincing job is easy. If we set our mind right, we can't help but have that experience. So really, he just wants us to say, just go to the situation with giving attitude. How can I give?
Yes.
How can I give like God gives? How can I give like Spirit gives?
Yes.
That's truly his guidance for us.
Yes. Yeah, I was just hearing that. I've heard David talk a lot about the idea of, and it's obviously in the Course too, the differences between form and content. And I feel like you're touching on that there, where my recollection of what Jesus says around that idea of giving in the Course is that when we associate giving in form, there's always a sense that I have less. Like if I just think giving, I have this money and I give, oh, now I have less. But he said, if you can just for a moment, if you can think about giving in terms of an idea, he says ideas, because as I share an idea with you, or you share with me, it strengthens the idea in both. Like that's a clearer way, a more helpful way to look at what giving really is, which is kind of what you were just touching on there too, I feel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just sort of wondering if we may be coming to the end of this interview, and I just kind of felt to ask, like, I know that the last few years, like the major project, if you like, you've been working on has been your involvement with the documentary Take Me Home. And, you know, that's complete now and it's available. People are, you know, all around the world can access it and watch it whenever they feel. And I think I've watched it like 6 times in the last few months. I love it. I love sharing it, especially. Like it just doesn't, it always feels fresh, and somehow sharing it with others is such a gift, you know, for me. So I was feeling to ask you, like, you've had these huge projects, like, is there anything that's up in that you're doing at the moment? Is there a project that you're working on, or anything you want to just, give me a little insight of what you're up to? Like,
No, actually, no, I don't have, I don't have anything concrete like I'm working on. I do feel, I see like every day as a project of its own, and I kind of really treat every day as being extremely precious, and the people who reach me and the things that unfolds, the encounters that I have, because I've been pretty indoors in the last months, so it's not like a lot, but every time when I feel like I want the spirit to send me the means, I really feel I have this feeling like decisions are not really made by me, but are revealed to me in a way. I'm not making decisions, and I just I don't have to decide how my day should be and what I should be doing. I just trust that, because I want miracles so much, I want the decisions to be revealed to me. And because of that intense desire to just want everything to be miracles, I treat everything every day being so precious for me. Like every means that happens, maybe they're the most mundane things. Someone texts me, or someone calls me, or just going for a walk. I feel that is all the opportunity I have to give the spirit inside, so that I can receive the love, I can receive his wisdom that wants to come through me or the other. So in a way, I feel, yeah, it feels pretty relaxed, and doesn't seem like a lot seems to be going on, and yet I feel for me it feels enough is going on.
yes,
Enough opportunities are presented. Yeah, it feels like very much the same opportunity as when I was working on a huge project.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, look, another question just come in as you were just saying that, and I think somewhere in that little supplementary manual that I think it might be the prayer and psychotherapy pamphlet or something. Somewhere in there, Jesus actually says that it's like he says that one of the greatest gifts that we can offer, you know, the whole world is our stillness and our peace. And I think he says like just one mind that's completely at rest and completely at peace can literally heal everything. So yeah, I don't know. I just do you have some thoughts about that? Because I know I feel like sometimes some of these lofty ideas can be, like anything, they can be misused by the ego. That like if I'm prone to be a little bit lazy or something, I think, oh, look, I don't need to do anything. I'll just sit still, and yet there are these like pointers to I suppose it comes back to just what is the guidance? What is his will? Am I, oh, look, I'm to just sit the whole day and just, open my mind and to rest in his presence. Yeah. Can you share anything around that?
Yeah, that's actually a great point, because you're right. When we talk about stillness and not making decisions, it's tempting to think that means I would do nothing. But what, in a way, that is also a I know state of mind. Like the mind immediately want to zoom into a conclusion and a form solution to say, okay, this is what I would do now. But the prayer is always that I would make no decisions on my own. I will let this body be used however spirit directs, so that I could experience miracles. So you're right. It is ultimately a prayer for guidance. And yes, Jesus did say that, like one teacher of God who are truly healed can heal the whole world without a word. Without a word. And so in a way, when I read that, I was thinking, great, because then I can see that words are not necessary, and that gives me a lot of like a comfort for me, because I use words a lot in my speaking, and also to have one-on-one counseling with people. The words come out a lot as if they are the things that have a causative effect for people to change mind. But to see that actually have me relax, and I'm thinking, yes, it's not through words, it's through my own change of mind. And then we just have all the reason to be humble. And even if on the surface you are the therapist and not the patient, but really the therapist can only heal if the therapist change the mind.
Yes.
Him or herself. That's the only condition. It has nothing to do with the patient. So that just makes it so humbling and so clear what is that we're here to do. Even if we're talking right now, or we're helping someone, a friend, is still my own mind that needs to be changed, that needs to be healed. That is still me. If words need to come out, it's me who needs to hear it. So I can't come in with the idea I know how to help. I don't know what I need to hear. It's comes back to this humility that, yeah, we're all the same, and this one mind that is calling for healing, and the spirit is the only healer and the only teacher. So the purpose of us coming together is him coming through. That's really what it is.
That's beautiful. I feel like it's just a perfect place to finish our interview, and just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity, just joining with you. It really feels precious, and I just feel so grateful I've known you for quite a while now, and apart from seeing you the other week, it's been a few years since I'd seen you, and I just feel very grateful to be joining today with you. And I just love you, Frances.
Oh, thank you, Colin. Yeah, likewise, feel the same. So honored to be on this path with you, and thank you for always being there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.